Exciting new announcement over from the team at Scene Report. We are starting a Substack, scenereportpodcast.substack.com. You can still find the same great interview content that you've come to expect, but we're going to be doing more bigger, better, funner version of this podcast. There's going to be writing. There's going to be way more video content. There is going to be photos. There's going to be other stuff. There's going to be community space to interact with listeners and other fans of the pod. We're not going to be losing any of the great stuff that makes Scene Report scrappy and raw, but we are going to have a dedicated home to the podcast. Now, for the first time, it's going to all live in one place. For now, nothing is going to be behind a paywall. So the bigger, better version of this podcast is going to be completely free and available to all of our listeners. That will likely gradually change over time. The, primary focus of the content is always going to be free and available, but we are going to make some extras available for paid subscribers. You subscribing to scenereportpodcast.substack.com is a very simple way that you can start helping making this thing make a little more sense. We're still going to be recording most of the episodes in my kitchen in but we're going to be hitting the road a little more, making fun, new content, bigger, better version of Scene Report. scenereportpodcast.substack.com. That's scenereportpodcast.substack.com. That's scenereportpodcast.substack.com.
No terms and conditions apply. Subscribe now at scenereportpodcast.substack.com. 0% down, $0 down at subscription. That's scenereportpodcast.podcast.com.
Okay, listeners, thank you for tuning in to Scene Report. We are recording this live to tape from my kitchen with one half of Sheer Mag. Is that right? One half of Sheer Mag?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's still technically a four-person band?
2/5, one half.
2/5. Depends on who you ask. We have Tina Holiday on vocals in the band from Mattituck, New York. We have Matt Palmer on guitar and vocals.
Yep.
Or just guitar?
I sing.
And guitar and sing from Vienna, Virginia. He's got that Virginia up in him.
Home of the Warhawks.
What was your mascot, Tina?
The Tuckers, the Mattituck Tuckers.
That's fucking crazy.
I think it's like a farmer. This was like a guy in overalls.
Farmer Tuck.
Yeah, we didn't have like football though.
Nice.
You had to get bused to a different town if you wanted to do that.
You said like...
Oh, really?
It was just like soccer were like the jocks. Like they were cool.
I played soccer, but we were very much not the jocks.
Well,
They made fun of us. Matt, what do you know about Mattituck? And Tina, what do you know about Vienna?
I know in Mattituck, drunk driving golf carts is a time-honored pastime.
I've never done that.
I thought you guys just took your car out.
No, you just drunk drive your car on the golf course.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
I actually learned this listening to a Sheer Mag interview today. You were
What?
talking about this thing.
Oh, we were talking about
From
driving
an
a car
interview from
on
long
a
time ago.
golf course. Yeah,
Playing the hits. I don't know, it's like a nice... It's a nice little
that's why he
town.
knows it.
It's a nice little beach town.
Yeah,
It's on the Sound, or it's like on the bay.
It's both on both.
Yeah.
North Fork,
Yeah,
North
the
Fork.
best part of Long Island.
yeah.
It really
Everybody
is.
knows now, so it's not like we have to keep it a secret.
Yeah,
Now it's ruined.
yeah.
And I'll
And-
never live there.
And what do you know about Vienna, Virginia, Tina? Or the Fairfax area?
The last time we were there was one of those robots that was delivering packages.
Oh, yeah.
I mostly just go and we were just hanging out in Matt's yard. We haven't really like toured the town too much when we stay there. We just sleep over and leave.
Yeah. We played a show in the backyard one time.
We did play a show in the backyard.
In your parents' backyard?
Yeah.
What happened? Sheer Mag did?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, well, my dad is a reporter for Politico. So it was just a bunch of, like, journalists, kind of, basically. Like, a bunch of, like, 50-year-old guys and women standing around.
They just like watched us get really drunk.
Kind of, yeah. It was
What
fun.
year was
Parents
this?
got barbecue.
2015. From, like, Red Hot and Blue or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your dad work in the Politico office
Yeah.
in Roslyn?
Yeah, it's like in Arlington.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I worked in the same building.
nice.
Remember when I was living in
Twins.
DC for like 6 months?
Yeah,
That was so fun. You guys played
Got
like
ink in your
right when I
veins.
moved there.
That's
I got
right.
ink in my veins, yeah. I worked in that same building. Actually, the original office for the company I was working at was in the former Politico office before Politico moved upstairs.
Word. Yeah.
I didn't realize that that's where your dad worked.
Yeah,
That's cool. Does he still write there?
he does. I think he wants to retire because he doesn't want to spend 4 more years writing about Trump.
Yeah.
And like honestly, he already did that, so I kind of know what he means.
Yeah. Throwback.
Yeah.
Can you guys introduce the rest of your band since they're not here and we'll probably be talking about them? We've been trying to put this together, this interview together for a minute. As listeners might see, if you're watching any clips of this, the logo for this podcast was designed after the Sheer Mag logo. Or so, is that how you
Yeah, it's
say the
based on
sentence
the
I'm
Sheer
trying to
Mag
say?
logo.
I mean, Kyle made it
Right.
or whatever a long time ago. So I've been meaning to have you guys on, but then we were kind of like, I feel like when we started talking about it, we were like, Kyle and Hart, they don't really need to be here because they don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
That's what they
It's not
said.
that they
That's
don't
what they
really,
said.
They don't really
That's
care
what
about
they
doing
say.
press that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other members that aren't here are Kyle Seeley, the lead guitarist, and his brother Hart, who plays bass, and engineer. I mean, they also both like engineer most of the records and like do the initial tracking before we go and like mix with whoever we do it with. Hunter, usually Hunter Davidson.
And they're from Syracuse.
Yeah.
And then it feels like you've had other members of the bands that have more been like live members of the bands as opposed to like in Sheer Mag.
Should we say
So you
all
have
of the
a-
drummers?
Say all the drummers, why not?
Alan Chapman,
Chapman, Ian Dykstra,
Ian Dykstra.
Cameron Wish,
Oh, I forgot.
James
about that.
Stewart for one show or two, Giacomo Zotti, and Evan Campbell. I think that's everyone.
6.
6, yeah.
And Cora played guitar.
And Cora
Right, yeah.
played third guitar.
Yeah.
And is that everything?
Love you, Cora.
Is that everyone who's played in Sheer Mag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now count everyone who's played bongos at a show.
Okay. We made Greg Benedetto do it one time.
Yeah, onto the top of it. And it was unmiked, and he was on top of a skate ramp.
It was just funny
And
because
I
he was
got
like
really
15 feet
scared.
higher than everyone else, and no one could hear what he was doing.
got really stressed out
and
about
he was
it.
like the most visually prominent member of the band. You could see him from like the back of the room, and you couldn't hear anything he was doing.
Yeah.
On a skate ramp, is that what you said? Was it at Soy Bomb or something?
No, it was in
It was in
Toronto at, it was like,
Soy Bomb's in
In the
Toronto.
day, it
Or
was
what am
a-
I talking about? That
No, it
after
just
hours
wasn't
spot.
that.
yeah, it just wasn't that. It was like a vintage store, bulk store that was at night turned into a venue that had skate ramp inside.
Dude, they got everything all in one place in Canada. Is there anything you guys want to say about the brother Seeley on Mike as we get started?
We
Like
love
insults?
Derek, man.
Yeah, anything you want.
We love and cherish them, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to ask because I did like listen and watch and read some interviews with you guys, and I feel like everyone asked this question, so I'm going to ask it too. What type of band is Sheer Mag?
Oh, fuck.
Rock.
Yeah, like a classic rock inspired band, power pop, and soul influences.
Rock, power pop, soul influences, classic rock,
Yeah,
yeah, disco,
yeah, disco.
Thin Lizzy. Is Thin Lizzy the
Sure.
only band that really people say as a...
People always say
People say, what else have they said? I don't know.
Someone said Skinner in something I was reading
Yeah.
today.
that. Yeah, I mean Southern rock, probably.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess the Seeleys are from like central New York, which might as well be the South.
It's the
some
south
ways.
of New York,
Yeah, even though
but it's
not-
north.
Yeah. It's up,
It's
but it's
up.
down,
Yeah, but
depending on which way you flip the map. And can you guys also tell me about SUNY Purchase?
Well, yeah, it's where we went to college. It's where everyone met. It's a state university for New York that's in Westchester County. It's like probably 45 minutes north of the city.
So you were the only out-of-stater.
I am, yeah.
So you had that
He paid
student
extra.
loan debt.
Yeah.
I have it too, but he paid extra to
Probably
go.
paid a lot extra.
He paid extra to go.
I did, but it
Probably
still
paid
wasn't
like
that
3 times as much.
Well, yeah, but like back then it wasn't as expensive as schools are now.
Now, did they do something? Could you become a New York resident after a little while, or did you pay out-of-state tuition the whole time?
You can't. If I had lived like off campus for 2 years, I could have like paid like
Yeah,
maybe the last 2 years.
yeah.
But I lived on campus the whole time.
Because I went to a CUNY school for grad school, and the admissions department was really cool there, and they would like tell you like make sure you like get your residency right away, because like by year 2
Yeah.
it wasn't relevant for me, but for people who were like moving to New York for it, they were like by year 2 you could
Yeah.
then. But I guess if you're living on campus, that's not exactly the same as like renting an apartment or something.
Yeah.
That's
We were
interesting.
talking about purchase last night. We were talking about funny purchase things.
What was the funniest?
Were you listening? Were you there? When
I
we
don't
were
think I
talking
was
about
there.
it?
I don't
Oh.
remember this happening.
We talked about, well, the dude we were talking to was talking about Despot going there. And then I was talking about how my old band, The Shakes, invented the side stage at Culture Shock accidentally because we just played on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool because, like, yeah, they just have, like, it was nice to make something that all the people who played in bands could play at this huge, like, yearly music, like, I don't know. It's like, why wouldn't they have something that bands that are
Like local bands can play.
And then they did after that.
Wait, you guys. So that wasn't happening. Can you move this just a tiny bit this way?
Yeah.
That
So
wasn't
you're- yeah,
happening.
exactly. That wasn't happening, and you guys just started that.
We just, like, plugged in at the student center on the side of where the actual show was, and we played between bands.
Cool.
And then the next year, like, we had a bunch of people do it. And then eventually,
Like
they had,
unannounced, you just plugged
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that's fun.
and then,
Do you know who named the Shakes?
yeah, Reed Dunley.
That's right.
Very original name.
Because Sam, was it Sam who said it or you who said it? Someone said that they had the shakes because they hadn't had a drink yet that day. Or
Probably
something.
James.
Maybe it was James, actually. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, so SUNY Purchase is like interesting, I guess. Because it is a state school.
Yeah.
It's close to New York City. And it seemed like all the artsy, like weird people, like all went there and
Yeah.
then all started bands.
People would
that
always
became
say, like,
popular.
every weird kid from your friend group went to Purchase,
Right,
like, in New York. They also wasn't, like, rich
right.
because they would probably go to a better school.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was like a really small. The campus was small. There was like it was really hard to get off campus, so you just had to hang out like I don't know in this like sort of bubble.
With, like, it was just, like, brick walls.
And most people just like didn't leave on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a really concentrated community. We had the student center where we all worked.
The Stewed.
The Stewed.
And so did
And-
everyone play in bands there? Was there just like a contained music scene? Did they book a lot of bands to come through beyond this culture
Yeah, we had
shock?
we had a pretty big budget for. There was like what was it called?
There was, like, the major events coordinator and the minor events coordinator
Yeah, but there was the mandatory student activities
fee.
fee or whatever, which was like $89 a year. But it's like
Yeah.
everyone paid into it, so there was like
A ton of
there's like
money.
$100,000 to like book bands throughout the year.
Yeah.
So bands would come through, like I don't know, I can't really remember who played, but they were impressive to me at the time.
Ween played,
Wayne played.
Who
Where
else
we first
played?
met, which we also talked about last night.
but we
Not at
didn't meet
Purchase,
there. But yeah,
but at a
we
Ween
met
concert.
at Ween.
Yeah,
at a Ween
like
show.
Drake played Fall Fest my freshman year.
Right, I
and he
remember
wasn't
this.
like very famous or whatever yet.
Yeah,
Chairlift, Carolyn Polachek's band.
Back then?
back then.
Interesting.
Yeah, like sort of indie.
Remember.
Grimes,
bands.
was that a purchase?
Grimes canceled.
Probably.
Where did Sam hang out
Grimes
with
canceled.
Grimes canceled Culture Shock, and
don't
she
know.
sent a
In
really
Montreal?
weird video apologizing. Where she just like held this basketball, and it was like I don't know. It was the talk of town for a week or two.
I think and Cameron played, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
when I think
Cameron
I was
played.
definitely there, and I assume that was Diapers, my old band, played that year. Definitely on the side stage.
Yeah. I don't remember the stuff.
Yeah.
I used to remember stuff.
One time when I was living at 538 Johnson, I made a spreadsheet of all the like Northeast colleges to be like, I remember doing it with like, I was talking a lot to like ZZ and those like Ukiah drag folk. And we're like, we should like set up like a little like booking agency that's like just for like Northeast colleges.
Yeah.
So a band could like pull up and do like a week or a week and a half and make like
No, that would
Yeah.
yeah.
$2,000 or $3,000
And
in
you have
every
to drive,
show
like,
with
1
little
hour
tiny
a day.
rides and eat at the fucking dining hall
Yeah.
and stay at the dorms.
play
and,
like Bennington.
yeah,
and, like, go to Bard or something.
Bennington, Burlington, Bard,
Yeah,
Vassar, Purchase,
yeah.
NYU, like
I feel like the only thing we did back then was go play New Paltz. when
Yeah.
we would have purchased.
yeah.
New
I played
Paltz.
at New Paltz.
Yeah. I like New Paltz.
Yeah.
I haven't been in
Everybody
years.
goes to that one place for breakfast.
The Bistro.
And Matt, so we already talked about the Shakes. Well, we mentioned them at least. And then what was your band?
I had a band called Weird Korea.
Right, Weird Korea. I was gonna say Twinks,
That was
but that
after.
wasn't Purchase.
Yeah, that was after.
And you're Korean, right?
I'm Korean. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why I thought it was a cool name. It's funny watching all these planes fly by and just like expecting them all to burst into flames.
That is funny.
But that was like my first. No, that was the first band I ever toured with, and we toured with Sirs, which was Hart and Kyle's band. And that's sort of like how the beginning of that.
Sirs?
Yeah,
How do you spell that?
SIRS.
I thought their band was Zona Mexicana.
They had that was
That was
different one
Hart's
with Hart.
band.
That was
Yeah.
Hart's band.
That was his like, what would you like? Sort of screamo, technical math.
Yeah, I was gonna
Band.
say math.
Right. Yeah.
We all played at. Didn't we all play at New Paltz together? Maybe Weird Korea didn't play. Maybe it was just
Maybe. I mean, I think we probably
Zona
did.
Mexicana or Sirs.
So you guys were homies with Sealy's in college?
Yeah.
You're a little bit younger than Tina. You're a year or two.
Yeah,
younger.
and
And they're younger than you, right?
Kyle's youngest.
Kyle is 1 year younger than me. Hart is 1 year older than me. But no, I mean, I met them. I met Hart my freshman year. Zona Mexicana played like every 3 days. And then they started Sirs, which was like another sort of like mathy band.
We kind of like that name.
I always
just
thought it
watched-
was funny because it's like so Reddit to be like, right this way, sirs, or like whatever. Like,
Well, I also
the
watched.
hat.
I watched Coach Carter for the first time the other day, and like, what a fucking amazing movie! Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Samuel L. Jackson is like a basketball coach in California for like a high school team, whips them into shape, and calls them sirs.
Okay.
So
That's why you like it.
that's why I like
Well,
it.
we never saw it, so
Yeah.
we don't like it.
I'm shocked you never saw it. It's like your era of 90s
The hell is
movie.
that supposed to mean?
It means that I've watched a lot of like VHS movies with you that like were mainstream 90s movies.
Like heavyweights?
Exactly. Yeah, we'll watch it later for sure.
But I mean, they were also part of the student center scene and
Yeah.
all worked there. Actually, Kyle never worked at the student center, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. No one would hire Kyle.
Well, he got like like he was like the last one. I don't know, like the like nepotism thing. Like he got screwed on because everyone just always hired their friends, and then became like too glaring, and he was like the first on the chopping block. Which honestly, I would if I was him, I would be annoyed. I don't think he cares anymore though.
Yeah.
He still cares.
Yeah.
But so there were like a lot of shows on campus and bands playing on campus and whatever.
Yeah.
It was like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then everyone moved to
Yeah,
Philly.
we would like play, and we like. I feel like every building at some point people played inside of like a weird building.
Yeah.
There was like that weird room near the dining hall. I remember like Aaron Main's old band and us, and like I don't know.
What? Not the co-op or something else?
Yeah, maybe in the co-op. It was so small that it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I remember shows happening in the stairwells and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I wish I went to
Shows
college there. Everyone always thinks I went to college at Purchase. 'Cause
Yeah.
I hang out with so many of you guys. But we, probably the second time we met or something was when the Shakes, but it was just you and Sam, I think, came over to play at Vassar. Mm-hmm. But we did it, like, I think you guys played in the basement of, like, a residential house, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Like, maybe where I lived or something. You definitely played somewhere I lived off campus. And we booked stuff in, like, a random, like, lecture hall. Like, random, crazy, cool, like, rooms, buildings. But there were, like, very few bands on campus. You know? I had, like, a shitty punk band.
Yeah,
There
wasn't a scene
there
like
were,
that
like,
at
3
Vassar.
bands. They had a lot of shows. They had a ton of, like, bands come through. Probably all the bands that
Yeah.
came through there.
Yeah.
We had, like, a booking thing called, like, No Vice. And then also we started one called VC Punks, which was so funny because...
It's Vassar College.
Yeah, Vassar College Punks.
Yeah.
But No Vice had a budget like that.
Right.
And we just didn't pay bands like anything.
Right.
And I was like, oh, we should have like gotten money for this. Like,
Yeah.
like we're like, yeah, we can like put you up. But there weren't any bands like on campus. There wasn't bands that like came out of Vassar
Yeah.
as like a cool band or something. But bands just came through
Yeah.
because they could get paid and people would come to the show. But there wouldn't be like a local opener. It would just be like that band, like
Right.
the only band playing.
Yeah.
Purchase would have been fun.
Yeah. I found out about Purchase because I read that like Dan Deacon went there.
Right.
That like, the Baltimore like electronic artist.
Do you know about the time that I found Dan Deacon's glasses in the field after he played Culture Shock, and I just like was like, oh, I should probably pick these up, and I like messaged him, or I told somebody, I was like, hey, I found your glasses if you like want them, and then all his like little minions kept like coming to my fucking room and being like, give us the glasses, and I was like, I don't fucking care about I just am not home whenever you come, like stop freaking out. They were like all on the warpath. They like I stole them or something. I was like, I found them in the middle of a field.
Like,
you
I did-
fucking freaks.
Yeah,
Was
I'm,
he
like,
going
doing
to
a
school there?
It was
still?
after he was gone. And I
Yeah.
was just like, take them. I don't give a shit.
All of his stooges.
They were just like, give us the fucking glasses. They were acting like I stole them. I was like,
I
we're just
found
getting
a-
stomped on, brother. Leave me alone.
I found a
don't
flash
care.
drive in the Stewed one time, and I like plugged it into my computer, and it was like Kimya Dawson's like unreleased like album or something. And then I was like, definitely not. I didn't do anything with it.
Lost to the
I didn't get
annals
in
of
touch with
time.
her to give it back.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You would have had this all of her stooges fucking berating
Yeah, I
your
know.
roommate. Give
I
us the
probably didn't
fucking
listen to it. I never really
flash drive.
cared much. But yeah, she went there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
She would.
What's the craziest thing you guys did together on the SUNY Purchase campus?
We didn't. What did we
Oh,
do? I
like-
don't know.
Just breaking into the buildings after hours. Like, I don't know. Nothing super. Oh,
You weren't there when I fell off that giant wall by the PAC, right?
no.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I guess
I was
we,
like, I didn't get hurt. I was
we
like,
started,
"Thank
like-
you." Just-
How big of a wall?
It was probably like 10 to 15 feet
Sick.
up. Just like one of those weird brick walls they have at Purchase.
Yeah.
But I fell right off.
Yeah.
we had like a bonfire.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Where we would have like pigs' heads and like make napalm
Is that where the
out of styrofoam and gas.
Oh, yeah,
and
we
Is
just
that
like
where the
go in the
Walker
weird
photo is from?
woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the first time the thing with the pig head, we just like found it because some band like brought it, and then we were like, oh, I don't know. That was
Some
after I
band brought a
graduated.
pig head
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we just like found it.
And then
in the woods. You found it?
I know, just like I don't know, like on
Somewhere.
campus somewhere.
and then this like kind of annoying kid who is like an editor at Brooklyn Vegan now is playing guitar, and I think Cameron picked up his guitar and just like smashed it like on a boulder because it was so annoying. And that guy like I sort of
During the
is
show?
somewhat
We were like
prominent,
in the woods, like in the middle of the weird like woods that were there.
like in, yeah, at night.
I've have you ever gotten lost trying to leave those woods? one
Yeah, I
time?
got so fucking. Me and Walker
And, like,
got
caught
so
in
lost.
thorns.
And I remember there was like, we saw this like creek, and it's just like, oh, let's like find
Yeah,
another
follow
way.
the creek.
Let's find another way around. And then like 90 minutes later, we're back at the creek, and it's just like, fuck this! Like we're like running through the creek.
Yeah.
And Walker like called Henry because Henry was there for some reason and had to like, he came halfway out into the woods and was like screaming. We like, followed the sound of his voice. Yeah, we like got lost in the woods for like 2.5 hours.
I found like a dead baby coyote in those woods one time. It was like, why?
That's
this is so weird.
Walker
What's this doing here?
Walker being the singer of Crazy Spirit, and Henry being the singer of Hank Wood and the Hammerheads and the drummer of Crazy Spirit. Is
Yes.
that Henry you're talking about?
Yeah.
Did those bands play Purchase? Did Toxic State punk bands play at Purchase?
No.
Did
but
Crazy
they-
Spirit ever play?
No, but they
don't think
recorded the demo there.
Huh.
And
They just didn't want to play for art school hipsters. Why didn't Crazy Spirit ever get paid money to play at Purchase, do you think?
they weren't very nice back in those days.
That's true. They
Honestly.
weren't nice then.
Lovely people.
They thought I
now.
was like they were like, Walker's turning into a hippie hanging out.
Oh, he
Thought I
was.
like a weird hippie. Well, whatever.
But which is fine.
You're like 23 and you leave Lower East Side for the first time in your life, and there's like trees around. Maybe you should be a little bit of a hippie.
I mean, no, which is fine.
So we're basically talking about Walker sang in this punk band Crazy Spirit that was like kind of like the big New York punk band of that scene. And he only hung out with like really punk New York City people who we all hang out with them
Yeah.
still to this day. But there definitely was like a divide. Of,
I
like,
remember like the
Purchase
first time I like
crew
went and
the
hung out
Toxic
at his
State.
house. They were all just like, "Who the fuck
Yeah.
is this bitch? She doesn't have any spikes on." And I was like, "I found these clothes in the trash."
And we're at your big lofts that your parents.
No, I remember that too. Yeah. I remember that loft. That was
Good
like
times.
enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, we were watching the Wild Wild West, and when we paused it on Will Smith's wiener in that one, that was like the first time I hung out with this guy.
There was I can think of at least one fight eventually.
When they all kicked James and peed on him, he deserved that.
I mean, he was being so annoying. What was he doing?
Wait, I don't think they peed on him. I think he peed on
He-
them.
Oh yeah, he peed on them and then they kicked him. That was because it was like the New Year's Day and they were all like asleep. And we wake up early on New Year's. We would wake up early on New Year's and go to the parade, but I don't think they expected
the Mumfords parade.
Mother's Day.
Mother's
And
Day.
they were like,
They
the
were like,
fuck?
Yeah, they
like,
were
go to
fucking-
bed.
yeah, and he
Probably
was being,
cranky and
and he was
hungover.
like still drunk, and they were being like, what the fuck is with this guy? And we were upstairs. Me and Walker and Cameron were upstairs singing that like the meatballs.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we didn't have any idea that like everyone was mad downstairs, and then they like
They left Walker.
yeah, they left Walker there. Yeah, and James was being a psycho, and then he peed on their shoes in the backyard,
Yeah.
which is insane. And
Like
then
on
they,
their
like,
shoes that were on their feet or
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
like in the backyard. They were
Yeah,
like back
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and he like followed them back there, and like was like, "Come on," and like just was being a menace. And they were like, "Fuck you," and they like kind of beat his ass a little bit.
Yeah. But it was like a light beating.
Yeah, it was a
as
very
far
It was
as
a
far
light
as I
But then they were like, "We're
it
getting
was
the
like a
fuck out
beating
of here."
for show.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
It
Didn't
sounds genuinely pretty fucking annoying.
I would have.
Yeah,
I
like
would have
happened
beat
to
his
you,
ass
like-
too.
also it's their it's I mean everyone's at fault here. It's their fault for not knowing that Mummers is the actual party. That's their
I mean,
fault.
it is.
And didn't
It was
didn't-
unexpected.
didn't Crazy Spirit play the night before?
Yeah, in the basement of.
I feel like I'm
that
like
house.
why I feel like I have this memory right now of like making a flyer for that the day of.
Yeah.
Or something. Why did that happen? Was that a last minute thing or something?
Maybe.
I feel like I
think
feel like I made a flyer that was like a picture of
Who else
Walker.
played?
Who else played?
I kind of forgot that happened.
Did the Shakes play?
Probably.
Maybe.
Did Diapers play?
It's a legendary
You
bill.
know more than I do. I forgot.
I
that
remember-
I forgot
even
this
happened.
happened also.
That was on New Year's Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was in what basement was it?
And then the next day was that the day that Catherine got lost at the Mummers Parade, and she like broke into the basement window, and we were looking for her for hours, and then we just found her like she had like slid in a window that's like this big, and we just like found her on the couch, and we were like looking for her for like hours.
Yeah.
And she just like somehow slid through a basement window and was in the house when we finally went back.
I mean, I can't imagine trying to parse through like what happened at which Mummers Day parade,
Right.
from 10 to 15 years ago.
Probably was a different.
Yeah, given that this show is called Scene Report, and I like to talk about different scenes, can you just explain to people what the fuck Mummers Day is?
In Philadelphia, there's this old racist tradition of Italian white guys who dress up in like dresses, basically.
They dress up like
and
jesters.
do really elaborate.
It's basically
dances.
like Mardi Gras.
It's like
kind of.
It's like mini Mardi Gras in Philadelphia. It's on New Year's Day, and they go down Broad Street. It's like a lot
And
more
sometimes
inclusive
and sometimes
now
they're
because
mariachi
everybody was
bands.
like, yeah. Sometimes
they're
they
in blackface. Basically.
Sometimes
they used
they
to
do
do like
blackface.
some pretty horrible.
Sometimes they have a
racist
swastika
costumes.
tattooed on them.
But it's like this weird
Some
day
guy
that
on
like
your block. It
you're
wasn't
allowed
actually
to
at
drink in the
Mummers.
Yeah, it
street
wasn't on
like
Mummers.
one
Yeah,
on
you-
this like one day a year and no one
Well,
cares.
you can like shotgun beers in front of cops,
yeah.
and they just like don't do.
Remember they like yelled.
Wait, let me finish.
Remember they
And-
yelled at Chris that I grew up with. They were like, "Hey, you don't have to hide that beer
Yeah.
or whatever."
Stop hiding that beer from me. But
Okay, go on.
yeah, but now it's like everybody obviously was like, "What the fuck is wrong with these guys?" When they realized that they're insanely like backwards and fucked up. And so now it's like
What, South
way more
Philly guys?
inclusive and
well, when like
has
it-
women are allowed and like minorities and
Yeah.
so there's like
So
they're all called
it's like cool now. It's
Yeah.
like that's interesting because I haven't been in man long.
yeah, they like banned wearing like Indian headdresses and doing blackface and things
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
because
That's great.
I mean,
That's amazing.
it took them a couple decades too late,
Yeah.
but they figured it out.
Yeah.
And now they don't
In
go
true
as far
South Philly
south.
style.
But like it's the main part of it is like everybody they're all dancing and drinking all day and going down Broad Street, and then at night they all like have the like the things that all the floats were on is like turns into a DJ booth, and there's just like walls of sound traveling down Second Street with like all these guys in dresses basically, like, and everyone's just dancing and drinking.
And you can shotgun beer in front
You
of
can
cops.
shotgun beers in front of cops.
And you can lie down on the
And
ground.
you can kind of be mean to cops on that.
yeah,
day, too. You
yeah,
can like
you can kinda
berate
yell at
them in
them.
the street.
yeah.
and you can lie down on the street and put your head on a cop's foot and
Yeah.
then light
And
your
they
fart
like it.
on fire and they'll
Yeah.
laugh.
And they laugh.
Which
Did you
is-
do that?
Maddie B did it.
Yeah.
Or you can just walk down the street and just say EA at anyone and just walk away and
Yeah.
and watch people go into like a fucking
They go into a frenzy.
GL.
go into a
LES.
frenzy.
Yeah.
You kicked your camera.
I kicked my camera. Thank you for actually telling me that. So that's mummers. Or
Yeah.
what we like to refer to as mumfords.
It's a really weird tradition, but
I feel like people don't really
it's kind
know.
of inescapable as well.
Yeah, I
It
feel like,
hasn't really escaped the Philadelphia ecosystem.
exactly. Like I
kind
feel like
of.
people don't really know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about it in a while. Like, what was it like this year? Did you go?
I went like it was so windy on New Year's, and no, it was with Angus, my
Yeah.
dad. So we were just like, it's so windy. But the best part was that there was this guy like inside of a Christmas tree riding a BMX bike.
Oh yeah,
And
saw
I
you posting
really
videos of
liked
that.
him. And then like saw him later when I was like very drunk on Second Street, and I was like, I found him again, and he's here, the tree bike man. I like to hold on to like one really good costume and then try to find him again later, like in the night.
Nice.
I don't.
I like Tree Man this year.
I think I might have actually finally gotten rid of it, but we found like a mummer's costume
Yeah.
on the ground, and I had it for years.
You were just like,
And I was just
you
wearing
put
it.
it on, and everyone thought you were a mummer that day.
And then I think I brought it back like a year. Like there's definitely some photos of us in it, but I feel like a couple years later I like brought it back for mummers and was wearing it again.
Yeah.
I think I finally threw it out.
You
know?
could have gotten away with so much stuff.
Yeah, if you're wearing the mummer's costume, you could just literally. I mean, you already can, and then it's like that much more. You can like light a cop car on fire,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh yeah."
It was really good. Like 2 years ago, my roommate like, you know, the party buses, she like kept like getting on them. And I was like, they're like, immediately would just be like, get off. Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you gotta be careful, dude. You're gonna get fucking hate crimed.
Jesus.
It's like, these people are psycho and they're so drunk.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were making sure that didn't happen. But it was just very funny that she was just like getting on the party buses. She also got up like on the truck flatbed when someone was DJing. It was like, they were like, you have to get off of this.
Yeah.
Like, she was trying to scratch on the the ones and twos.
And just to clarify, Tina lives in Philly and the rest of the band lives in Philly, but Matt lives in New York City now.
Yes.
Matt Hart just moved on Wednesday.
What? To where?
Upstate New York.
To upstate New York?
People
To
ask
Syracuse?
me every single day if I live in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And
Good.
it's like, I've realized I've lived in New York longer than I lived in Philly now.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 7 years. I've been
Wow.
in Philly for like
Time
5.5.
flies.
Lights are hot, bro.
Sorry. Where did Hart move to?
DeRider.
Where's that?
He's
Get a
getting a
house.
house upstate, but they don't have it yet, so they're staying at their like lake house.
Sick. Where when you say upstate, do you mean like upstate or do you mean like central New
They're
York?
looking in the
Syracuse,
Finger Lakes or something.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's hell. Maybe I'll get invited to visit.
They almost got
It's
a
like
house
already
with a
resentful
silo.
you haven't been invited to their house. Like,
Well,
unpurchased house.
I didn't get invited to the wedding. So I don't know. I didn't even think twice
Air
of
it
it
out.
till someone else said something about it. I was like, oh yeah, interesting. Okay, I haven't asked any of the questions that I've written.
No, I
down
just
yet.
looked at this list. There's like
I'm not gonna laugh.
there's like 25
I'm not gonna ask
things.
all of them. They're just in case if I run.
Yeah,
out
when
of
you
things
said
I
we were
wanna
talking
say.
for an hour, I was like, how would we possibly do that?
Should we do 2 hours?
No.
Let's do 3. Can you also just tell me? We kind of have gotten into it already. I don't need like the fucking details because people can read them elsewhere. But Sheer Mag starting, it happened because it was a recording project of Kyle, sort of, and then they met you guys, and then they wanted to make
We
it
all
a
lived.
thing.
Yeah, we all like lived in a house together. Well,
In
it was just
Philly,
very fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
you all lived in a house together in
the
Philly.
nut house.
Yeah, we had a 3-story house.
That's when Sheer Mag started.
Yeah.
with 7 bedrooms. I lived
It was
behind
really
the
funny because
kitchen.
we all like were getting our money together for the house, and Matt like lived at the pink house, and he was like, "I won't."
You lived
Yeah, I
at the
won't-
pink house.
I
You
won't
lived
be
inside
in
of
the.
there.
He like wasn't in on it, and then he was like, "Actually, let me just." When you guys are done with all the security deposits and everything, I'll just live in this really shitty back room.
Yeah.
He like snuck his stuff in there.
I don't remember
What
exactly
year is
how it happened,
what year
but
is
that
this?
basically is what happened.
2014,
2014. Yeah. So it was like Hart, Pat, Kyle, Christian, Ryan, Tina, and me. At this house on 22nd Street in Point Breeze.
22nd and Morton.
And yeah, Kyle and Hart had a tape machine. They lived on the top floor, I think.
Their rooms are like connected by a door.
Yeah. And so they
we
made
use, like one room is like a control room, and like one room is like a booth, kind of.
yeah, and they made the demo for What You Want.
And then me and Matt would just sit in my room and listen to one of my tiny pink cassette player over and over again.
Yeah, and it was like
You would
they-
listen to the tape they recorded
Just like
all
the
the time.
music. There
the
was
bounce
no,
they
like,
had made or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I heard it, I was just like, "This is you're finally using your powers for good,
What do you
not
mean?
writing evil math music."
Right.
Like
Right.
it's like you're finally just playing something like in 4/4, like sort of. I mean, their music was always great, but this was like they had finally like decided to sort of make accessible like
Yeah.
pop music.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we did that. Hart posted it to like VLV and like a bunch of like forums, which I don't even think people really use forums like that anymore.
They don't.
And it got popular on like record collector forums.
Wait, what is this? This is a demo?
This
that
was
he
the first
posted?
7-inch.
The first 7-inch.
Yeah, yeah.
So that you sang on it,
Mm-hmm.
and they played all the instruments. Were you on it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
I'm like not on like any of the recordings.
Any of them?
Not really.
Not
I think
even
I'm
the
on
new-
like there's 2 songs I wrote for a distant call, and like I play guitar on my parts on those songs.
Yeah.
I don't really.
So
yeah.
so it's still the two of them recording everything, just the two of them
Yeah, for the most part. I mean,
in a
sometimes
studio at this point.
Depends. I don't know what we'll do going on because now that Heart's moved. But like the last record, yeah. Well, they have like their parents have like lake house, just like these like 3 lake houses that are like all like kind of smallish cabins
Yeah.
at the Ryder Lake.
Yeah, which I've never been invited to.
I've never been invited in the summer.
What? Really?
It's fun.
What do you
there's
mean?
There's like a fucking boat.
You've never
We're
been
always
there?
We're
I've
always
never been there in the summer.
we're
only
always
in the
there
dead
when
of
it's
winter when we're
freezing. I
recording.
know, yeah.
I've never been invited for like a fun thing.
Yeah.
We're always in Western New York when it's freezing fucking
Well,
cold.
it's like
Just like Binghamton
torture.
and like mixing for a week in Binghamton, and there's no fucking
Last time it was
heat.
it was warm. That was nice.
That was nice.
Inside
You
or
don't have to wanna
outside?
kill yourself while you're doing this. That's cool.
It was warm inside or outside?
It was cold. It was warm outside.
Yeah.
It was like fine inside.
Our friend's pipes froze in his house, and
there was like no
heat.
water to like flush the toilet.
Yeah, but wait, just to like wrap up whatever that. Actually, I don't know. Whatever they play, like
They do it all.
they do it all. I mean, now
And then you sing.
when
They
we
do. They would do that
collaborate-
too if they could.
I mean, they. I'll get like a song structure, and then sometimes I'll tell Kyle like, maybe we should rearrange this part.
Yeah.
Like we'll like a song that's like ABC ABC is like maybe we should do like AB ABC or something like, and so it's like some structural things.
Yeah.
We'll collaborate on. Usually he sends me demos not completely finished, so we can still figure that stuff out.
And then the two of you guys write the words together
Yeah.
and you sing them out loud.
Yes.
Do you write that? What's that like writing them together? You sit down next to each other? Or
We
you send
haven't
shit back and
actually
forth?
done it. Matt's kind of been
I mean, I mostly
recently
just
take
write.
the reins lately. The
Yeah.
past couple.
Yeah. Like the last record, I just like went to my parents' house for 2 months and like wrote the songs. I mean,
Wrote the
sometimes-
lyrics to the song.
Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when we were writing songs and they were about me, I like would have more. It was like this would be dumb if Matt just like made a bunch of stuff up.
right.
So I would like write out things and like we would like yeah, but it's
We did that for like a distant call. It was sort of like that was focused more on Christina's like life. But then I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to just write sort of about more broader things, I guess, like not necessarily about one, just like about her
just one guy.
personality. Just like, yeah.
We
I was like,
only
maybe
did it
I'll-
for like 8 years.
Just one fucking
Yeah.
random guy.
Just one guy.
Yeah.
So now you write
Didn't wanna
about
write about
anything
one
under the
guy
sun.
anymore.
Yeah.
Anything under or above the sun.
Well, it sort of came along with just taking a step away from writing like explicitly like topical political music. And I mean, me and Hart would talk about like how we want to have songs like Paul McCartney songs like that are just like, who's that knocking at the door? Like, let them in. It's like you can write a song about anything. Like, and so yeah, we kind of like I wanted to like explore songwriting like that.
Does the new record, what's it called? Playing Favorites?
Yeah.
Does that record have much political content in the lyrics? I can't remember.
Not really.
You're done.
I mean, I'm ready to do it again. It's just like take a step back. That record is more.
How many like songs can we write about the same?
Yeah, I just didn't want it to be like hack because I felt like I had to write about something. It's like it's time for our prison reform song or like something like or it's like we need to like work on education. like it would be stupid.
Your dad's writing all the lyrics.
Yeah, trade. Yeah, the
Yeah.
World Trade Organization or whatever. No, not really. I mean, it's more of it's kind of a personal record or like love songs and songs about our friends and like loss, stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you read the Pitchfork review of that record?
Yes.
I did read it actually. Yeah.
By Brady Gerber.
Brady Gerber.
Gave it a
Meet me
6.7.
tonight.
Yeah.
We can talk. Say his shit to my face.
it to
Fucking
Gerber.
pussy.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? I'm gonna really make a splash. I haven't written an article in about 5 years. Let me write. I'm gonna do a scathing review of this.
No, there was a period of time where I like fantasized about like meeting him in a dark alley and just like beating the shit out of him.
He wanted us to make a rap record. He wanted really us to go outside the box.
Yeah, his biggest gripe, because I read it today, was his gripe was that it didn't do something new enough for
Which
him.
it fucking did, by the way.
Which it actually did.
yeah.
It's very different than the other records, but either way, it's like, is that
He
the
wanted us to make like he wanted us to make a trip hop record.
yeah?
I know.
Is that what being an artist is? Is every single album you put out has to be like extremely different than the last one? And it's like it's almost like he was like, oh, you guys like you're too self-aware with your lyrics about your same old friends riding around in the truck with listening to the old songs. It was like very like.
I think
Why
he
do you
was
have
just
such
mad
a
at us.
specific gripe?
I think he had some. I don't know what we did to him, but
What did you do to
let
him?
us know.
Have you interacted with him before?
Who knows?
No.
I probably just met him one time and then I forgot him the next time, and he was really mad about it for the next 8 years.
There's some like
Are you gonna
Some,
read?
we
are you
did
gonna read
something
it?
to him.
this
Yeah,
is
read it out
this is
loud.
the end.
Read the
This
whole
is the
thing.
No,
fucking
don't.
end of this is the final paragraph.
Start from the beginning.
Okay, Sheer Mag's mission for playing favorites remains to put huge and catchy songwriting front and center. Sheer Mag succeeded again, though the band's issue was never its inability to write compelling and accessible rock songs. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah,
What the fuck
yeah.
are you talking about? It's like, oh yeah, they wanted to write good songs and they
did it again.
And it was but that was never the issue.
He wants us to write bad songs?
As the title track suggests, Sheer Mag are still playing just like the old days and playing the same old songs to make you feel like you're in 1975 or 2014. It's not a loss for the guitar rock world. Still, there's no need to pretend that consistency always justifies a lack of new ideas. Which is just like, I mean, he's such a fucking dumbass.
Yeah. it
Which I
really
think that there were a
bothered
lot
me.
of new ideas on the record, honestly. But like,
But also, what if there wasn't? How is that a problem?
yeah, I don't know.
Has he ever like listened to the Ramones before? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
went on his Twitter and like was like stalking him a little bit for.
Yeah.
I was on tilt when that review came out.
I think
So
the
what
only
is-
reason that anyone read it is because you posted about it, honestly. No one gives a
sure.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was like was the record label?
Pitchfork.
Oh shit! We got the 6.7 on Pitchfork. No one's gonna buy it. I do.
No,
I
I
do
mean,
It's
imagine
literally the only time
it's
we
not-
haven't gotten like best new music.
Yeah.
It's not. It was.
I-
It was honestly our worst review.
It was. I
Like,
Which
looked at all
is
the
crazy
other
because I
ones.
feel
We
like it's
still
our
have-
best record.
yeah. I mean, everything else like
I guess
whatever
that's just how people feel, but
on
when you-
Metacritic or like this average score is like in the high 80s. It's like an 88 or something.
Did you find out when you're on his Twitter and stuff what his day job is? Because I read this one interview with him and it sounded like he worked a day job and he kind of like did this music writing at night.
Well, that makes sense. Well, when like a
at
month
night when he's feeling
before
real pissed off.
a month before all this shit happened, Pitchfork like fired half their writers. Like a bunch of people at Condé Nast like got laid off, and
He's a scab.
A lot of people were posting like, "This is awesome. Pitchfork fucking sucks. Like I'm so glad they like get to eat shit and die now." And I was sort of just like, "This is actually bad for us because Pitchfork like everyone at Pitchfork liked us. Like
They like
probably-
wrote an article
they
for us
probably-
covering like a song one time.
Yeah,
like they
like,
really liked us for
they
like
probably
a
hi-
little
like-
bit.
What, at that wedding?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when we covered Shania Twain.
Right.
I was just like, they probably just fired all the fucking writers at like Sheer Mag.
yeah.
Like,
Now it's over.
and like all the editors.
It's over.
Now they just have this guy who's really mad at us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Sorry, bro.
Well, Brady Gerber, you heard it here first. These guys would like to talk to you in some capacity, so
Yeah.
might as well shoot someone an email. What is it?
Have
Sheer.
some Gerber food, you baby.
What is it? Sheer. You can find the email. I'm
can
sure you
find
have
it.
it.
You made enemies for life. Talking directly in the camera is cool. We should do that.
Oh yes.
Brady Gerber, come find me.
Speaking of irrelevant music publications,
Where to begin?
I did an interview with Sheer Mag for Noisy in 2015.
Nice.
10 years ago.
To
It came
the
out.
day.
It came out in March of 2015, so it probably was like happening right around now.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Time fucking flies.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You guys have been a band for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. What's changed in those 10 years for the band and for the, the places that you play at and the way that you put music out?
It's been interesting watching like the downtowns of major American cities like dissolve over the past 10 years and become like completely insane. Like just going to California once a year for 10 years and just being like, wow, it's worse here every single time. But I mean, I don't know. Did you want to go in a different direction with that?
Yeah. All the like beloved venues closing down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we get along better. Like, I mean, we used to like fight like cats and
Me and
dogs.
Hart used to go. We'd be fighting.
Me and Hart also used to.
Now
Used
we
to
don't
go
fight
at it.
that. We get one good fight in a tour, and then it's like kind of over.
Yeah. We all like, I mean, we're just like a lot more mature and grown up. Like,
Sometimes you get hotels now. That's pretty
we
cool.
get hotels pretty often now.
take-
How many people in a room?
Me and Tina bunk
4.
together.
4 in a room?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tina likes
We're
to keep
still
it
not,
nice
you
and
know.
cold.
I think the last time I was actually on the road with you guys, we all stayed in a hotel in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, that
And
was
the,
cool.
And the only way I could get you guys to stay for the night because half of the band wanted to drive halfway the next night. I was like, I'll get a hotel room. And then you guys were like, okay, we'll stay.
That was cool. Remember you used your card to buy Irish car bombs? And we never heard about it though. We were like, it was like some random credit card that none of us ever used.
Oh.
And we bought a bunch of, well, we were hammered.
We did a lot of
There's also
Irish
that
car
video of
bombs.
me like dropping that,
Kind of the best video that
Oh,
ever
wait,
was-
that one's so funny.
existed.
dropping the drink.
At Binions or whatever?
I don't know.
And there's like a really
Oh my
funny
God.
song on the speaker
We
too.
should find that after this.
And what happens? Like you bump into me or something, and the drink falls on the ground, and everyone's just kind of like deer in the headlights.
And
Sort of
Jake
like
is, like,
Chaplin-esque
laughing
or something like
hysterically.
that. It's like
It's like-
silent movie.
Yeah.
Like
It is very Chaplin-esque.
Chaplin-esque.
I don't know. It's like I feel like the music industry has changed a lot. Like, it's hot.
Well, let me direct it a
Yeah.
little more too. I mean, I feel like when you guys came out and started put this 7 inches out or whatever, you were like coming up in the punk scene in whatever capacity was
Yeah.
going on, and the DIY scene or whatever. And you guys were very like, we want to stay in that
Right.
world. And also I've been looking at interviews with you guys lately where you said this in the interviews too of like we want longevity. We don't want to be the
Flash in a pan.
we don't want to be the flash in
Yeah.
the pan. We don't want to be like a band that kind of came from that world and then everyone really liked them and then they like go away. So obviously you're still around for 10 years, but it seems like you guys sort of resisted sort of like entering that like music industry space for a long time,
Yeah.
but not anymore. You're there now. Did
Yeah.
that like shift?
I don't
Or
know. It's
was
like
just
kind of
how
there's
it
only
goes?
so big you can get in DIY, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And not like we're like the biggest DIY band ever, but
We
it
like,
kind of
I feel
felt
like we felt like we personally reached a ceiling.
yeah, or like had sort of plateaued, but wanted to keep growing. But then also had told labels that we weren't interested in the
really
past.
pissed them right
They
off.
don't really ask you twice. I mean, you know what I mean? They're not going to come back and be like, have you reconsidered? Like, they don't really care again. The moment had like passed, but we were like still trying to figure out how to get like wider distribution and stuff like that. And then, yeah, we like
Tina's making a drink.
figured this deal out with Third Man, and they've been really cool.
Yeah. Tell the listeners about Third Man.
Well, it's like Jack White's record label. They have like their own
He plays in a
pressing
band called the White Stripes.
of the White Stripes. Yeah, I mean it's cool because they have their own pressing plant, and stuff like that. So they're sort of like in control of the entire manufacturing process.
Nashville based.
Nashville, yeah. There's one in Detroit too, I think. But yeah, they're based in Nashville.
Who are some of the more notable acts on Third Man Records?
I mean, they do like.
What'd you say?
Oh yeah, there's a band from Nashville called Snooper that's on it. Kind of like an egg punk vibe. Hotline TNT.
I don't mean those bands.
Like
isn't-
I don't know, they
isn't,
probably
like-
reissued
like-
a Lucinda Williams record. Or
Yeah,
something
there you
like
go.
That, you know,
Like-
like I don't know, like
They put
Yeah,
out,
they like reissue a lot of like Dwight Yoakam and like Patsy Cline.
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. And is the White Stripes on that record label?
Yeah.
And
Seltzer.
we drank all of it.
Fucking asshole.
It's okay. Here, you can have some of those. I'll pour it in yours. So how does that change your lives, or does it? What changes for you signing to a label like that?
We don't have to like literally figure out how to press the records ourselves. And like
How many of them?
I actually have no idea how many they made. I know that we have historically made too many. And have several thousand.
Heart's a sucker for bulk deal.
Yeah.
We got a really
We
good
got like
deal.
pallets and pallets. Of
We got a
records in
great
our-
deal on the repress of Distant Call.
Yeah.
And we'll
how
be
many-
selling
and
them
how-
for the rest of our lives.
Can you sell them to Jack White somehow?
I have no
I think
idea.
we can still like sell them on tour and stuff. So
Yeah.
So how many of those do you have right now?
Probably
What?
thousands.
Yeah.
yeah.
How many?
So
thousands?
buy one.
Like 3, I don't know.
A
You should
lot.
do a sale.
You should.
They've been on sale.
They're all on sale.
They're on sale. Don't worry about it.
They're on sale.
So beyond that, does it change anything in terms of who you're playing with? You said you stay in a hotel every once in a while.
Yeah.
Size of the rooms.
We get like a TM and like we have a sound person, which I felt like we avoided it for so long because we knew once we did it, there was like no turning back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily. But we still kind of handle a lot of stuff ourselves, or like our
Yeah.
manager,
Well, we like.
Mike, does.
I think everybody
But they, I mean, it's
thinks
just.
we don't want them to do anything because we didn't for so long, and now we like kind of do. And they're
What's
like,
that thing when
yeah.
like you pretend like you can't do the dishes, so they
Weaponized incompetence.
we kind of have the opposite problem.
Yeah. We have weaponized competence.
Yeah.
Everybody weaponizes our competence against us. So they don't do as much as they do for like other bands.
Even though we appreciate everyone who does stuff for us.
Yep.
I will say I noticed on the last tour that you guys did, which I guess was after that record came out. I guess the last tour that I saw you guys play on. You played was that Terminal 5? No, at Bowery. At Bowery.
Oh, yeah.
Was that on that record? I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
The show was different. The show was bigger.
It was
there was
awesome.
like there were like elements, there were like interludes.
We have like a walk-on song.
You have a walk-on song. You had
Yeah.
the guest bongo section.
Yeah.
It became like more of like a show.
We wanted it to, yeah, for sure. I mean, like,
Talk about that.
I have a chimes.
Yeah, you have a chimes.
right? There's sort of
I
like,
leave the stage. Yeah, Evan does a drum solo.
There's sort
Evan
of,
does a drum solo.
yeah, it's more like a performance. I mean, I don't know. It's not
I love when I get to leave the stage. It's so
even
What
for
do you
a
do?
minute.
just for a moment.
What do you do?
I like either stand in like a weird dark corner or I like chug something.
Or, like-
or sometimes I like if they're
Or
the
like,
green
where'd I
room,
put the
if the
fucking-
green room's like really close, I'll like run in there and do like get something I forgot.
Yeah.
Usually like it's liquor related.
Well, I remember, like, well, our friends,
You have a liquor-related interlude.
Our friends in Poison
Intermission.
Ruin, like, they have a bunch of like, because Mac like writes like these like dungeon synth interludes. Like they just never, when they tune, there's never a moment where there's like nothing happening or whatever. And so it was sort of like inspired by that, sort of creating like this seamless experience where there's like not ever dead air, or like sort of like us just like shuffling our feet and like looking around at each other, just like trying to like put on like a professional big
Yeah.
rock show.
Yeah.
Like And when you've done it, like, I remember I thought that show was great. And it was like
sick.
towards the end of the tour, so we were like tight as fuck and had done everything.
Yeah, it was
like,
the
a million
last
times.
show, I think.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
maybe we had a Philly show like 2 days later or something.
I mean, I'll just say, like, having seen you guys play for 10 plus years in a whole bunch of different places, I was like, oh shit, this is another level of the live show.
And we did that cover at the end, and everyone got on stage.
Oh yeah.
There's a really funny video of my friend Evan drinking a beer like this, like pouring it.
Oh
from
yeah,
up
that was
here.
awesome. Actually.
He's behind you.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite videos. He understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Usually Matt says that,
Yeah.
and I never do, but he did. There was no way else to describe it.
Yeah, everyone was hesitant to get up. Everyone was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All
played
my
Come
friends
On,
from
Feel the
home weren't.
Noise.
They were just like, "Rah!" And they like climbed over the.
So what is that? What is that? What does that mean about, like, what's next? You have a tour coming.
Yeah,
up.
we're touring with Amyl and the Sniffers in the spring. Yeah, we should figure
Are you
that
gonna,
out.
you're gonna be opening?
Well, it's gonna
that, I
be
guess.
we only have to play for like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll do all the. I probably won't have my chimes, which is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Opening is so easy. It's kind of sick because you
Yeah.
just like. I mean, for 30 minutes, like we'll probably just play a really rocking set, like
Yeah.
and maybe have like a little bit less. Actually, who knows? We'll
who
have to
knows?
figure out the set.
We've all not thought about any like
Yeah.
Sheer Mag for like.
We've been
Since
on
we got
sort
off
of a
tour.
break. Or
Yeah.
like not a break because we're like doing stuff, but like it was a really intense. It's like like a year and a half of writing, like 6 months of touring, and now it's been like 6 months since like the tours have been over. So it's just sort of like a lull in between.
Yeah, I feel like when we were talking earlier this week about doing this interview, you were like, I haven't thought about that band in
Yeah.
6 months.
Not in
I
a
was-
bad
I was,
way
like, perfect,
necessarily,
actually.
but like just been busy with other stuff. There's like life stuff happening for a lot of members of the band. Like Kyle is just got engaged and has a daughter. Hart's just got married and is moving. Me and Tina are also,
I got stuff going on.
and we got stuff going on too. Yeah,
We do have stuff going on.
yeah.
I feel like,
I have a date on Sunday, so
yeah. Actually, that was one of the things I had written down. What's the plan? What's dating like for you guys these days? As a working musician,
she's a fan.
a fan of the band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
The person that you're.
That's
going out
how it
with.
works if you're a guy.
it's not always how this is like the one time that's like happened.
Yeah.
Like, also when I met her, I was bitching about the Pitchfork interview also, which is embarrassing because it was like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still won't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was.
I hadn't thought about it in months.
Yeah, I generally don't, but
What else about dating? What's the dating scene in Philly like?
Everyone is ugly.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, 2 people had a crush on me. They were hanging out the other day, and I was extremely overwhelmed. And then I was like, Hart, 2 people hanging out, and I was like, that's never happened. And he was like, sure it has. What are you talking about? He like was mad about it, but I was like, that's the nicest thing you've ever said
you would
to
like
me.
give a compliment in a pissed off way.
Yeah, he like didn't think it was a compliment.
yeah.
And I was
It's like
like,
the only yeah.
and Kyle was like, will you guys shut the fuck up, please?
And then what happened?
Nothing.
They were both in the.
Smashed.
They were in the same. You were all in the same.
We were all in the
place.
same building.
Yeah, at the same party.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then what happened?
Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's dating
Nothing
like
weird
for
happened.
I live with my partner in this house.
you? Nice.
Idiot.
Congrats.
Remember when you? Never mind. It's not that interesting of a story. I just remember when you like dated and lived with someone for like, and I just never met them. That was so weird.
Yeah.
He like fully dated some human for like months and months, and they like lived here and moved out and broke up, and I never even saw them.
Yeah, good riddance.
Weirdo.
Weirdo. What is dating like when you're on the road? Is it always just some weird long distance stuff, or do you fall in love on tour?
Yeah,
It's happened.
it's happened.
I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's long distance stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not the best at it, honestly.
Who's the best at it?
Probably Kyle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
he can.
Kyle and Hart.
He can date across oceans.
Everyone else that has a partner in the band is pretty good about calling and
I think that's
texting.
pretty good about it when I did.
Yeah.
I wasn't going on getting wasted with you and Hart nearly as much
Yeah.
as before when I wasn't dating someone.
How
You guys were like, you're not even partying anymore. And then I did, and I like fell down in the middle of like a rave in the UK. I was like, I'll prove to you that I'm still good. Like I was trying to teach me a cool foot dance, and I fucking
Oh, that dance was awesome. Yeah, that was sick.
I was so mad when I came on your guys' tour in Europe and it ended in London and you guys went out raving and I had a flight the next morning and I was like, God.
You should have stayed up all
That
night.
wasn't that fun that night. That was just following Chubby around, if I remember correctly. But we did learn that weird foot dance.
Oh, this is the same night I'm talking about?
Yeah. I think
so, yeah.
Could have learned the fucking foot dance.
I just don't remember it, but I did fall down.
Well, I was particularly annoyed because I like got sick on the flight. Like I got like a weird.
You got diarrhea?
Yeah, and it wasn't diarrhea. I remember I was like shivering, like I was like sick.
Yeah, that
I was
sucks.
like,
You
what
got
the
fever?
fuck? I didn't even like fucking go out to the rave. And I
Should
got a
have.
fucking
Then you
fever.
wouldn't have got it.
Yeah. Which does bring me to a question now that we're talking about the UK. What's your guys' favorite, place to go on tour? Like country or continent or what have you?
I mean, Dublin's always awesome, but we're always only there for like 24 hours.
We always have a red eye in.
We like
and a
fly
red eye
in
out.
at 6 a.m. and fly out at 6 a.m. like every fucking
Yeah,
time.
but Dublin's always fun. I mean, Spain is awesome.
Yeah.
We had a great time in Barcelona again.
Glasgow is always really consistent.
What's great about these things?
Well, Spanish people are just really fun and
Yeah.
like love to, like, I don't know, like love to dance. Like they're really good crowds. They love to stay up all night long, like, and be crazy. And they're super friendly, like, and also super hot. So I don't know, it's sick. People in the UK, I mean, I like playing the UK.
Yeah, London's fun.
They're pretty.
We
they're
went
all
out
like
for
pretty
Kyle's
funny.
birthday after our last London show. And remember, I was like, that bro. I thought they were laughing at me, and he like came up. He's like, I just want you to know when you came, we weren't laughing at you. You look beautiful tonight. And then he like kissed me on the cheek, and then he just like kissed again, and you were like watching, and he like kissed me. He's like, let's do another one. And it was like really close to my lips, and I was like, what is going on?
Okay, yeah, that's so
I
funny.
accept this. And then I was like in the bathroom, and all these girls were talking, and I was like, I really like your guys' accents. Do you like mine? And they were like, they just like looked at me weird and like left the
No.
bathroom.
Yeah.
No, we fucking don't.
Nor.
They are an Australian.
Nor.
No.
Do you like mine?
Do you guys like my
What
accent?
did they say?
They didn't say anything. They just left the bathroom.
Nice.
They they boned me hard.
I like when you go into the bathroom and you make friends with all the girls.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was what was going to happen, but I
Yeah.
guess not. I guess I
Yeah.
asked the wrong questions. But I do sometimes come out of the bathroom with like an army of chicks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
these are my new friends now. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I loved playing Japan. Japan was awesome.
Yeah.
Would love to go back there. Texas.
Well, we were
is always
supposed yeah,
good.
we owe Japan. We owe
Yeah,
Japan hard.
when's Japan happening?
Well, we were gonna go to Japan and then COVID happened,
Shit.
so that sucked.
I went for anyone listening, I went with Sheer Mac to Japan and it was like the fucking coolest shit ever.
In Tsuyama when I crowd surfed and you had to catch me when I got like to the end of the crowd. You also have a recording of that where I sound so bad
Yeah.
because I was so drunk and I'm like, you can never show anyone.
Oh yeah, I released that. I pressed it.
You did.
So you have that
Banged.
recording?
You have it.
But have you heard it?
Yes.
Did I send it to you?
Yes, it's so
So it exists
horrible.
somewhere. Because I was
My
just
banter is hilarious, but
It's
every
really
time
good.
I sing a note, it's fucking horrendous. I also like tried to kiss everyone on stage, and I couldn't figure out how to get to Giacomo because of all the drums were in the way.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I
I
wrote,
unplugged Core's guitar like 7 times.
I wrote about this for a website called Ad Hoc, and I talk a lot about how you're kissing everyone in the band, like
Yeah.
in the middle of the songs throughout the whole show. It was
I just
really
love them so much.
that was the Suyama is the coolest.
That was
place
such
I've
a
ever
cool
been.
fuck-
Like the
that was
coolest
so
place I've ever
cool.
seen a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like it's seemingly in the middle of nowhere, but then like
It
everyone
was in the middle of
schizophrenia,
nowhere.
Krishog, like everyone played like, and so it was just like
Yeah.
so many people came out. It was so
Some
fun.
Spanish band played too.
The bassist of Kriegshog is like the coolest guy I've ever seen. I spent like the rest of the Japanese trip trying to like copy his fit and like buy the clothes that he was wearing
Yeah.
that night.
But it was crazy though.
Like
It's like
getting a haircut.
yeah, I also got a haircut in Ginza with
yeah.
Moto from
Moto.
Yeah.
from Morpheme.
Remember
Right.
we were bouncing all that stuff on his head
No.
that one night?
One night.
It was like you go to the izakaya and he was like asleep like this, and we like put your
Oh,
red
yeah.
bucket hat on him, and then we were like balancing all that stuff on his head because he was
Classic.
really tired.
So after
Pub activities.
after every show in Japan, everyone like goes out to the restaurant.
It's like
afterwards.
it's fun, but it gets like really hard
No,
to
it
go
was
out
awesome.
every.
It was
Matt
fucking
likes
awesome.
it.
No,
I liked it too.
Because you ate food and drank, and then
Yeah.
if you're tired, you just fall asleep at the table,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and everyone goes.
I liked it, except for like all the smoking inside.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
That,
like
at that point, it became like a bit that I hated the smoking.
right. Well, because you're like only allowed to smoke inside in Japan.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to smoke on the street.
But I remember before going, I was like, someone's like, "Oh, you're gonna love the after parties. You have to go to the after parties." I was like, "Why the fuck am I gonna love the after parties? Like, I'm too old. Like, I'm not gonna love
Yeah.
partying after the show and staying up late
Well,
and
you
like
just have
falling
a
asleep on
giant
someone's
dinner.
couch."
Yeah.
But you just go out to dinner
Yeah.
with everyone,
And then they
everyone
just, like,
drinks and eats as
Everyone
much
at the
as you
show
can.
goes out. It's so yeah, it was.
It's
awesome.
amazing. There's no fucking like vegan slop.
Yeah.
You
no,
know,
you're like
it's
at a
not like you're
table
in
with like
Europe.
40 people.
Yeah.
And there's like the beer and sake,
And the food's
like, never-
fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's sick.
It is.
Who paid for that?
We do.
We did.
Yeah, word.
That's what you realize after a couple of days. You're just like, this is awesome. Like, and
it
then
comes
it's like,
it comes out of the show
Well,
money.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when like Hart and Kyle
Does
figured
the-
that out,
does
they're
the-
like, let's like maybe not do that
Yeah,
like,
no
tonight.
way.
And, we're
it's just
you
like,
can't.
Nice
and then
try.
Takashi's just like, I'm sorry, but we have to do that every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So
that's fine.
does the money get handed to the promoter and that gets handed to the restaurant, or does it just kind of come from the venue?
That-
Just kind of hand.
I
like,
mean, it all goes to Takashi.
yeah,
who was
and
like
then
our
he does it.
Takashi is amazing. Shout out Takashi.
We love Takashi.
Love you.
I
One
miss
time he
him.
went to deposit all of the money from the show into an ATM at like a 7-Eleven or something like that and forgot to finish the transaction. And someone just walked up to an ATM and took like fucking like 50,000 yen that was just like in this envelope because he didn't like press like finish or something like that. And then he like called the ATM police, and I was outside smoking a cigarette, and I literally thought that this guy was gonna come and like give me a ticket for smoking, but he just like pulls up on this like moped and like got out and then just like talks to Takashi and then just hands him the how much he like lost
Yeah.
because they have like such a weird honor system.
Well,
So he just like handed Takashi $50,000 and was just like, all right, here you go. Sorry, like you fucked up so bad. I was just like, this is the weirdest
My
society.
mind
I
like
would,
couldn't even comprehend
never
that
re-
story that I just
I
like,
know.
didn't accept it into my brain.
like I know that happened, but me telling it right now feels like a lie.
It feels like it's made up.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it like did happen. It's just so weird.
Yeah, it was just weird for the cops to be like helpful instead of just like trying to like yell at you.
Yeah.
Remember you dropped my phone down a sewer drain.
Oh my god, that was
Reed.
insane.
I dropped it.
You dropped it.
Yeah, maybe. Where was that?
was in Osaka,
It was in
on the
Osaka.
river.
And
It was after the tour.
Yeah.
Right?
You and
Yeah.
Nikita had come in that
And then those guys came and they were like, "What do we do?" And they just like put tape on a stick and
That
they were
was
trying
so
to like get
crazy.
it out of.
Weren't they like security guards or something?
They were cops.
They were cops.
And then Cameron was like, "Can I just like shimmy?"
Yeah,
in
didn't
this
they
thing?
didn't
were
they
like,
let
yeah,
him?
sure, you
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah,
Like, they
and he
like,
just
let him
climbed
do it.
over.
And he just like climbed in a sewer and got my phone out. Because we were like looking at directions and I like handed it to you and you're like, what? And
Yeah,
it
I
like
did
went
kinda-
down a sewer drain.
Sounds like your fault.
It was your fault.
Also, wait, I just have to back it up for Suyama just to, and we don't have to talk about it, but we drove up this like mountainside
Yeah.
through the fog in the
Yeah.
middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Pulled into a parking lot in the Sprinter van that Takashi is driving us around in, and go into the venue, and it's like a 300 like 400 cap like pro venue in the middle of the fucking woods
Yeah.
in the mountains.
Yeah.
Full of punks watching Kriegshog and Schizophrenia and Sheermag play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
sick.
insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. How could a show be sicker than that? Or like a venue or whatever.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
It
So
was
just,
awesome. And I also I hadn't drank liquor that whole trip. And then you from Schizophrenia was just like feeding me blue tequila shots.
There was blue and there were red shots.
Yeah.
There were two colored shots.
And I became insane.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kyle, should I crowd surf? And he said no. And I was like, fuck you. And I just like ran on top of all the small people and jumped on them.
Also, the whole Japan thing is just mad funny because like the whole like fandom, rock star culture thing is just like hilarious. Everyone's getting your guys'
Yeah, when
autographs the whole
I
time.
signed that girl's tote bag and she started crying. It was
She
like,
wasn't
fucking-
crying because of you.
Okay, she was crying coincidentally at the
She was
moment.
crying because she liked me.
Okay, sorry, she was fucking crying because of you.
She was hugging me and crying, and you just really wanted to sign her tote
Where was
bag
that?
really big.
Nagoya? Osaka?
No. Say more things.
I don't know where it was.
Say more things. The
Don't
other-
pretend to say more things.
Say another city.
Where else did you guys play?
Say it.
Wasn't that Nagoya?
No, say.
Yeah, it was
another
Nagoya.
one. No, it wasn't. I know where
Should
it
we
was.
just like,
Just say one
vaguely
more.
I don't
Same
remember any
Japanese
other
cities
name.
that we don't
You
fucking
played
know?
Tokyo a few times. You played Nagoya. You played Osaka. You played Tsuyama. Don't remember. Did you? We went to Kyoto, but you didn't play Kyoto.
Are you sure?
Not sure.
Yeah, was it
I thought it was-
Hiroshima?
I thought it was Kyoto.
We
But
went
maybe
to
I'm wrong.
Hiroshima.
We did, yeah. Right. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
it
where did the
was.
girl
Doesn't
cry?
really matter. It was in an alleyway.
What alleyway was it where the girl cried? It was in
Somebody hit
Nagoya.
someone else with a parking cone, and it really hurt. Probably
What?
me. I do remember someone
That's
hit me
it.
with a.
This is the flyer.
This is it.
So where's that?
No, it's not.
That's
the
not
West
it.
Coast Tour 2022 with Twomp Sex.
Twomp Sacks. What's the best festival you've ever played, and what's the worst festival you've ever played?
The one I don't even know. All festivals are kind of the same. Like, it was fun when we played that festival in Portland and Haram was there,
Yeah, that was.
and they gave us free drugs. But we
we didn't.
we didn't do it. Well, literally all of the regular drugs were gone, so they only had mescaline left.
What? I didn't do that.
I drank some of. We were calling it mummy juice. You remember that?
No.
Because it was looked like congealed blood.
Yeah, I didn't. Have
I don't think. I don't know if it really
I was like,
affected
I don't think
me.
I would really want. I don't think I want that. I really, it was really weird. Where did we play? We played like the Fire. No, sorry, FYF. It was like the same people who did Coachella. There was like so many famous
Fuck
people
yeah,
there,
fest.
and I was like,
Oh, Nick
really
Kroll
upset.
was there.
Yeah, all the Workaholics guys were there, and I was like, and then what's his name? Vince Staples was walking around, and
Yeah.
like, I was just so pissed off and hungover, though I couldn't like enjoy it.
I mean, honestly, Coachella was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, riding around in golf carts is fun.
That is fun. Riding around on golf courses is awesome.
Golf courts,
Driving cars drunk on golf courses at music festivals.
Yeah.
golf carts is yeah, it's fun to like be driven around in a golf cart.
It's fun. Spain playing festivals in Spain is crazy because they make you play like.
Did you play like Primavera and shit?
We played Primavera at 3:45 a.m. We played Canela Festival this summer at what was that, like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you guys have summer festival stuff booked already for this year?
No, I don't think so.
Or it's still winter time now?
I mean, the offers should be coming in any second.
They're going to be
now.
rolling in any second.
Yeah.
So no worst festivals then, you said.
I mean, some of them are boring, or it's just like, well, there's so many. Like, there's probably just too many festivals in general.
I really like
I don't
that
understand
one
how
in-
it's like it seems sustainable to like.
There was a really fun one in Portland that one time that like Ween played, and I guess I was just happy because bands I liked were playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First couple years at South by were pretty crazy. I mean, when
Playing like five.
when
like
we played
3
10
a
shows
day.
in 2 days or
Yeah.
whatever, like when like everything was like first taking off.
Remember when the Shakes played South by?
No, we didn't. The show got canceled.
You guys played.
Oh yeah, we played that, but we played out like in front of like a school bus.
That sounds right. What year was that? 2010,
Yeah,
something like that. Everything was free.
Was that on the
Everything
Diesel
was
Jeans
free.
World Tour?
yeah, maybe probably diesel jeans.
Have I'll bet.
Remember
you,
when I was lost and you saw me crossing the highway like really haggard in the middle, and you like found? Remember?
Like a fucking
You couldn't find me because we had like had like flip phones.
Yeah.
And we were camping because everyone in Austin was too expensive to stay. So we were like camping like 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
my phone, we're drinking in that playground behind that fucking bar. And it's like anybody, like you get caught immediately. And we were all like immediately got caught. And
I remember
Me-
drinking in the playground.
and then we all like ran in different directions. And then
We got caught
my
by
phone
who?
was dead. Cops. My phone was dead. And then you guys were all trying to go back to the campsite, but you couldn't find me. And like tried to use some guy's phone, and they like yelled at me they were like, we're going to let some degenerate run away from the cops, like use our flip phone. And I was like, fine. And then you guys just saw me like crossing that huge street by myself. And you're like, we found her. But we didn't find Pat, and he was like asleep in a yard when we finally found him like the next day.
That's
cool.
That was cool. You guys have probably gotten to meet some musicians along the ride of the last 10 plus years that you're like were probably big fans of before.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could call them like idols, maybe some people. Is there any people, musicians that you looked up to that you had like a good or bad experience?
Tina
meeting?
yelled at Primal Scream and called them boomers.
I did?
Yeah. You were in the trailer at some festival in the UK, and they were like leaning on the door, and then like you opened up the door and you said, "Okay, boomer." And then you walked up to me and told me that, and I was like, why did you do that
don't
to those old nice guys?
That never happened. Mavis Staples hugged me at Coachella and called me a biker chick.
That's awesome.
She was like, she like walked up, was like, you want a hug, don't you? She's like, what are you, a biker chick? Because I had like a leather vest. I was like, yeah,
Nice.
whatever you say, Mavis
We talked to
Staples.
Billy Joe.
Yeah, Billy
Armstrong,
Joe.
And I
He
remember
told
like
me that. I was talking to him for like 10 minutes and none of them like would look. I was like, dude, are you guys fucking stupid? He was like telling me that Mimi in the streets like inspired him or something. And I was just like, why are these fucking idiots not looking over here and seeing that? I've been talking to him for like 10 full minutes.
well, we did eventually come over, but you don't want to like punish that much.
You just
or
didn't,
whatever.
but you just didn't see me though. But you did punish him, and it was funny.
Well,
'Cause
Cora
his
got
excuse
mad at me
when-
because I kept on cutting Cora out of the conversation circle, and he's probably the one who was like wanted to talk to him the most, maybe.
Yeah. But it was just funny because his like out is just like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Right, and I remember we were joking about being like, "Oh, it's okay, I got to go to the bathroom too."
Yeah, like
I'll-
following him to the bathroom.
It's like I have to take a shit too.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
John Waters was awesome. I was like hanging out with Shannon from Shannon the Clams and like in the green room and he was like kind of sharing it with them, or maybe he was just hanging out, but he was like sitting alone in a chair and no one was talking to him, and I was like, this is my chance. And I like pulled up a chair like next to him, and
Yeah.
we just like were chatting for a super long time. It was awesome. Adam Lazar from Ting Back Sunday. I like that band when I was in 10th grade. He was a fucking douchebag, but I guess he's like, whatever. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
I tried to talk to him and he was such a douchebag. And then I was plotting to throw him off overboard on the Coheed cruise, but they played and got off the boat before we left the dock.
Before you had a chance to throw him overboard.
Yeah, I was gonna get sent to the brig,
Yeah.
the boat jail.
I feel like we played with Dead Moon or like at Berserk Town, their other band.
Oh yeah,
And they,
Pure
I think,
Sparrows.
said, yeah, they were like nice. And said they liked
were
it or
really
something.
sweet, yeah.
They played my WFMU show one time, and it was just so sick because
Yeah.
it was like a Wednesday afternoon, and they had played Maxwell's I think the night before,
Yeah.
and it was just Fred and Tootie, and Fred was like mad hungover.
Right.
And they were like drinking Jägermeister, I'm pretty sure.
Hell yeah,
In
bro.
the live room at WFMU on like a Wednesday
get
at
Jägermeister.
3 p.m. Let's go Jägermeister
Yeah.
tonight. And I was like, I like doing this radio show. Like I just get to watch. Like I'm watching Fred and Tootie play a show just for me and the engineer. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking sick.
there's probably way more.
There's
I'm just
probably way
forgetting.
more. It's like, well, like meeting
Even just
meeting
seeing-
the Marksmen was like cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Even just seeing bands, we saw Kendrick Lamar at that same fest that I was talking about. With
Oh,
all the
yeah,
celebs.
FYF.
That was fucking crazy.
right.
And those and what's his name? Those two comedians were right. Nick Kroll and what's the
John
other-
Mulaney,
yeah.
I think.
Not John. Maybe he was there, but the other, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't know his name. But yeah, they were right in front of us, watching Kendrick Lamar. That was weird.
I feel like
And
I always.
sick.
No, sorry.
Go ahead. I just said and sick.
And sick. I feel like I always kind of enjoy when I see you guys on the road or whatever, or playing somewhere when you get really excited and become super quick friends with a band.
Yeah.
Like the night that we were just talking about this actually earlier, but the night that you guys played with Chick Chick Chick, and then
Yeah.
you guys were just broing down with this
Yeah.
band so hard.
I
Like
liked
who else?
Chick Chick Chick.
I
They
was
were- they were
who else are we gonna
good.
hang out with here?
Yeah. They were fun.
Yeah.
They were fun.
Yeah.
I only saw 2 songs as we were trying to put Giacomo's back into place.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, yo, this band's sick. I wish that I was watching all this.
He hurt his back,
I heard his back.
as someone would have
He's
you
okay
believe.
now.
He's okay now. When's the first time that you guys had guacamole?
I had it in college when I was 21 years old. Honestly, we talked about this yesterday, right?
Did you?
Yeah.
Why you asked him? Because he remembers. I don't remember.
We didn't have avocados growing up in Virginia back in my day. I didn't really know what the deal was. I had to date a sophisticated New York City girl to be exposed to guacamole.
Has a famous musician ever stolen your logo?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Scott Stapp.
And who is that?
Singer of Creed.
I thought he sings in Nickelback.
The Nickelback? No, he's Creed.
Well, who's Chad Kroger? He's Creed.
Who's Creed?
Chad Kroger is in Nickelback.
Which one's which? Okay, Scott Stapp. You're right.
Scott
you're
Stapp
right.
is like a stolen bass.
A stolen bass. Yes.
What's the other Creed song you said you were
Let's
doing
play
karaoke?
ball. It's game day. My sacrifice.
Yeah, how's that one go?
My sacrifice.
I did want to ask you guys, and we can wrap it up in a minute. I'm gonna leave y'all to your last comments. So start thinking about that now. Where's your favorite place in the world to do karaoke?
That bar we did it in Denton was pretty fun. Remember that with Will Mecca?
No, I don't remember.
That was fun.
In North Carolina, what's that place? That was really fun. Probably
that
just
where-
because I sang 10 times.
Is that when Ian sang like that Metallica song or whatever?
I think so.
I don't know. Honestly,
What is that place called? Triple something?
it's nice to get a room, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we did it in Japan and had a room. It was awesome. It was really hot in there, so we were all taking our shirts off.
I like the karaoke
and they have
place on St.
costumes.
Mark's. Anchored.
It's fun to do in my
Classic.
living room sometimes. What else? Oh, there was that one time at cousin Danny's, I made Mike V do karaoke for 8 hours for my birthday. He was just sitting there for fucking
"Please
so
stop."
long,
Yeah.
and that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Poor bastard.
Bob and Barbara's. It's been a minute.
I did it after the Eagles won last weekend, and it was packed to the brim, and I still somehow sang, and then I just left.
I feel like people sing Frozen songs there and shit though.
Well, there's always musical theater kids that go to every karaoke night in the
Yeah.
entire city, and we're like,
I know.
"What's up?
Yeah.
It's you."
And do you have a number one favorite karaoke song?
It always changes. Well, you've seen my list, right?
I've been
At
doing The Man in Me by Bob Dylan for a couple years. Because it's pretty easy. You get to go La La La.
Yeah,
I get
and you can stomp your feet to it too.
I really
my
want to.
huge list.
That's-
I want to
that's a little
do
bit too
Saturday
big of a
Night's
list.
All Right for Fighting by Elton John, but all of the MIDI tracks are fucked up and suck.
Yeah. Can you just do it when you do it at fucking Anchored or something? It's just YouTube.
No, because you have to
That's fucked
know
up, too.
which track you're getting, because the psychos who make these things change the key and shit. It's just
Yeah.
why are you recreating this song perfectly and then changing one gigantic thing about it? That's the most important part. To embarrass me.
It's to embarrass you.
To em-
Sometimes I have to save Matt's ass during karaoke so often.
It's true.
It's insane. He
I
doesn't
don't
ever know the verses.
I don't know all the verses to fucking Macho Man.
And I have
just know
to come save the
chorus,
day.
But Tina does.
I do know the verses to Macho Man.
Yeah.
Some of
What
my favorites
the
are.
verses to Macho Man?
I can't. I don't know. You have to play the song.
Okay, we'll
One
do
of
it
my.
later.
I was doing It's Raining Men for a while as my go-to.
Yeah.
And then I do. I've been doing Silver Springs because that is
Jesus.
really good.
Yeah.
And
What's that?
Fleetwood Mac song.
what do you mean?
I don't know the names. Of things.
And what else? I don't. Usher, Nice and Slow. That's one I've been doing for years.
Nice.
But that's too sexual sometimes.
Yeah. I can get it.
But recently I've been trying out that song, that Hinder song, "Lips of an Angel," and that's
She Hates
really
Me is
funny.
fun. by
She fucking
Pablo
hates
May.
me. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I let Matt borrow that one sometimes.
Yeah.
You remember when we made him give you guys the karaoke room at Brooklyn Bazaar?
Oh yeah,
That was fucking
that
fun.
was sick.
Yeah, you guys need to bring me on tour again so I can be the party tour manager.
Mm-hmm.
You have the regular TM and then the party TM.
Yeah.
Amy does a pretty good job of that.
I'll bet she can do that, huh?
Yeah.
That's a twofer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're kind of set now. That's great. I can stop asking questions.
Love you, Amy.
Love you, Amy.
Love you, Amy.
I can stop asking questions, but I do, or I can ask one more. You
Ask
guys
one more,
decide.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have I can't have an independent thought.
Well, you
right
are.
now.
I'm still gonna leave the last to you.
Well,
Maybe I'll ask two more questions. I guess I'll just ask. Like we mentioned, you've been a band for over 10 years. Played a lot of shows, put out a lot of records. I've said to you before, it's I always want to see Sheer Mag play on a fucking arena stage because I feel like the music lends itself to that. But, where do you guys do you have an end goal? Do you have a goal for this band? You've been a band for a long time and you've kind of done a bunch of shit, but there's always more shit to do. You could be playing other things. Do you want to be a band playing clubs for 10 years?
I mean, I think we all would like to experience doing an arena tour at some point. I don't know if it's it's almost happened a couple times. I think Queens of the Stone Age asked us one time, but it was right after that guy kicked some lady in the face. So I think we said no. And that guy's a crazy libertarian. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that we'd probably do an arena. It would be cool to do it one time, to do a weird arena tour.
Yeah.
I think we kind of just want to play in a bunch
I'm
of different
mostly-
more countries that we haven't played.
Yeah.
It's not I don't think there's
goal is,
huge big
make another
picture goals.
record at some point, soonish. I mean, I don't know, next year or so, start firing that shit up again. And then like I would like to go to like Southeast Asia. Like be cool to like play in South America.
I mean, that's
Just
the
sort of,
coolest
like-
thing to me is like I
Yeah.
would never be able to go I would have like from my like back. I'm just like very poor, and I wouldn't be able to go to any. I wouldn't ever go on like a trip to all these crazy places. Like this band is the only reason I've been all these places.
Go to China. I remember
go
they
to
asked if
China,
we wanted to
besides
go
the
to
airport.
China, and then someone was like, "They're gonna ask us if we want to go to China again."
It's like yeah,
No one,
so what?
people don't really ask me twice.
To go to China.
No, they just don't ask you twice.
Yeah, they
in
don't ask you to
general.
do
Anything.
things twice.
Like they don't really like they don't need you as much as you think they do. Like the industry like moves on. Like,
yeah. They'll ask someone else to fucking go.
yeah.
You would. I
They're
would.
better than you anyway.
I would think that you guys would play in South America at some point, like Argentina.
Yeah, it would be cool. It's from what I understand, you
fans.
just have to like logistically, it's complicated because you have to fly
Right.
every day because all the cities are far apart and stuff.
And you have done Mexico.
I'd love to go to Mexico again.
You just
Yeah.
did Mexico City?
No, we did.
No,
like,
we did a
10
bunch
days or
of
something.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Remember, yeah, Harris came with us.
Can't wait to go to Canada again.
Love going to Canada.
Eating food.
I mean, we ate
at
at like
Maddie's restaurant?
5 of Maddie Matheson's restaurants last
That
night.
actually was awesome. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you started
sick.
talking about that at breakfast today, I was like, oh shit, I want to do that.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
sick.
so
It was
sick.
like
Sounds
so.
fire.
Thanks, Maddie. He hooked
Yeah.
it the fuck up. He gave us like 40 fucking pizzas. At the one.
That was crazy. That was awesome.
It was like 20 pizzas. All kinds. Rizzo's House of Parm.
Yeah.
She was sick.
All right, I am gonna let you guys say the last word. What else?
I don't know. I guess free Palestine. I don't have like a closing statement or whatever.
You know,
Anything I say is gonna be sentimental, and I'm gonna start crying or something.
that's nice.
No, I won't do it on camera.
You know,
No, it's nice. Well, you've always supported us and taken care of us. Thanks, Reed.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Reed.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Actually, I was hoping that you would say thank you to me. At
You've
the
been
end.
Right,
my
yeah.
friend for like 20 fucking years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Sorry, I got mad at you because I thought you were trying to fuck with me when you
Didn't park
didn't park in the
that you
spot that
said.
was not a real spot last night. Because you were 10 minutes late to dinner and I made reservations.
It was
and-
6. We were 6 minutes.
But I said to be there at 7:55.
We had to put Renata underneath a bunch of art.
We had to put
drive
Renata
in.
underneath the art. Apology accepted. That's okay.
I was sorry I was cranky. We had a good time.
Well, as long as you're being sentimental, I will say it's like it's really fun to like be like tight with a band and then be like, oh, I also like fucking love their music. You
Hell
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, there's plenty of people that you're friends with and really close with. You're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I literally don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like, and also whatever. We're friends with like punk bands, so it's like everything's all the fucking same in the end in a lot of ways. You know,
Yeah.
like a great punk band and a great punk band is a great punk band, and there's a lot of good punk bands. You know, and there's some great punk bands, but it's like. It's fun to be like, oh shit, this band is like totally different than like most of what our friends actually play, and it's like, and they're sick, and I appreciate that I've gotten to go to fucking Japan and Europe and all over the U.S. with you guys, and it's sick. So
Yeah, I was like
thanks for bringing
bragging
me
about
along.
last night to people. I was like, Cameron, everybody else would like, with their girlfriends would like come meet them in Japan and Europe, and Reed and Cameron just come meet me, and we go on like an extra little vacation at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
like
think that they were, everybody else in the band was a little jealous that we got to do that. And they had to hang out with their dumb girlfriends. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I love your dumb
That was so
girlfriends.
stressful for me because I had to carry Paige's luggage and my own bags for like 7 days.
Yeah.
Well, she's just like walking around. I mean, I love Paige, but it was like, why am I carrying your suitcase too? I have my own.
I
have
like
my
when you
own
carry my
bag.
suitcase.
I like that too, but I remember just like I don't know. That was stressing me the fuck out.
I know.
that's why I don't travel with suitcases.
Yeah.
Well, you
I travel
never
with
know.
bags because I don't know where I'm gonna get stuck, and I couldn't get on. I was flying internationally like a month ago, and I actually couldn't get on my fucking flight, and it was such a pain in the ass, and I had to go like get a new passport the next morning. It was all this thing. But I was like, if I had a suitcase, it would have made everything so annoying. But having a big backpack, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Back problems, brother. I can't just be carrying on a big back.
Same too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
But
depends.
Matt still does it.
Yeah.
With his
Yeah.
giant backpack.
Well, I think we've done it. Thank you guys.
Done it again.
We've done it again.
We
I don't-
rule.
I don't think I've interviewed just the two of you guys in one place. It's funny because I actually have interviewed you guys a handful of times over the years. I feel like we've done some one-on-one interviews here
Yeah.
and there. I don't know even what
Maybe.
for,
Yeah, maybe.
but thanks for doing it. Maybe we'll do the Seeley brothers one day
That
and
would
like
be
put them
funny.
next, mash them up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have one more thing I want to ask because I was watching all these like videos of you guys, and it was just kind of cracking me up seeing how many different, completely different looks
Yeah.
that that Kyle has had
Yeah.
over the years.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
they're such extreme looks. You've had different looks too.
Yeah.
You know, you did the
You
Slim
like copied
Shady
me
hair.
that time with your blonde hair.
Yeah, that was not a good
We
era.
looked weird together.
I looked bad in that.
Somebody
that era.
commented on a video of us that said like we looked like we were on FetLife or something.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what that is.
It's a fucking fetish website.
On that like
When you
pitch-
both have the
like
blonde
song
hair.
we wish we wrote.
It's for like
Yeah.
horny
Someone, like-
polycule people.
Yeah.
They said we
yeah.
looked like that, and I was like, "That's
They were probably
they were
right.
probably right."
But even to like, I was just like, Kyle on the tiny desk is like the wild 70s rocker, like long.
My
kind of,
favorite
like,
comment on that
skullet.
video is like, Unc on the right's holding it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then like I watched the
Just
like,
the youngest member of the band.
Yeah, calling
Being
the
Unc.
youngest member Unc.
but I watched like your most recent KEXP thing, and I think they were fairly. It didn't seem like they were that far apart that these recordings happened. And he's
Yeah.
wearing a Bass Pro fishing hat and has a beard like this, and he just like looks like an
It's just, like,
Appalachia.
6 months apart.
Yeah, I'm like this is like literally like Friday and Tuesday, and you
Yeah.
went from like 70s rocker burnout to like
Yeah.
like Hunter from West Virginia.
I like when he dresses like in his weird like thrash way, and he had
Yeah, it's like white Reeboks.
Yeah.
like white Air Force Ones or something like that, and like acid wash jeans.
Yeah, so that's sort of
Like-
my question. Do you have a favorite era of Kyle look?
I like it when he has the big beard. I like it
Yeah.
when he has
I loved it when he has long hair. I'm glad he's growing his hair back. My favorite look is it was only for one night, and he had like a skullet for a couple hours.
Oh, that picture's so funny.
Here it is.
Wait, yeah, that was sick.
This was my favorite. This is my favorite Kyle era.
Damn.
Yeah, could I see that real quick? This is just from one day.
Yeah.
It was just one night.
I'm not gonna focus on it. Whatever.
When he shaved his. Maybe that was like when he first shaved all of his hair off because he thought he was like he shouldn't have it anymore. But that's my favorite.
Yeah.
He also looks really funny in this picture.
I know.
All right, last call for last comments. 3,
That's it.
2,
That's it.
1. That's it. Thank you so much, Tina Holiday, Matt Palmer, Sheer Mag, rocking it with us in the kitchen, telling us the story of their band. I'm your host, producer, and editor, Reed Dunley. Our executive producer is Ash Tyner. Music is by Jesse Crawford. Logo is by
Kyle Seeley.
Kyle Seeley.
He's gone. It's gone.
Thanks for tuning in. You can, like, subscribe,
like.
comment, smash wherever you're listening to this podcast. Please throw us a follow on Instagram and share.
You can insult me in the comments if you want.
insult Tina.
People like to. That's me.
She will read the comments.
My mom will read the comments
And
and
her
be
mom.
really upset. So,
So say
don't
mean
actually
things
do it.
or say nice things. Hit the comments
I
because
have a
she's going to
mom.
read them. So if you want to get a message to Tina Holiday, and I'll bet you do, if you put it in the comments of this episode on Instagram, she will read them and likely respond to them too. So here's your chance.
This was a terrible thing to say.
I'm talking to you, Brady Gerber from Pitchfork.
Give me your address.
Yeah, thank you guys again. And this is Scene Report. Peace.